Welcome time travelers, and welcome new time travelers. As always, if you're new to this channel and enjoy learning history one event at a time, then don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're going to start out in 1766 when the British Parliament repealed the Stamp Act of 1765 after a violent protest from American colonists, including a group known as the Sons of Liberty. In 1837, American politician Grover Cleveland, who was the only U.S. president to serve 2 discontinuous terms, meaning 2 terms in office, but not at the same time, or back to back. His first term was from 1885 to 1889, and his second term was 1893 to 1897, was born. On this day in 1869, Neville Chamberlain, who was the British Prime Minister from May 28, 1937 to May 10, 1940, and whose name is identified with policies of appeasement toward Adolf Hitler's Germany, was born. 1871 brought us the Commune of Paris, an insurrection of Persians against the French government, which began lasting until May 28th. Moving on to 1902, when the Italian operatic tenor Enrico Caruso, one of the first musicians to document his voice on a gramophone, made his first phonograph recording. 4 years later, in 1906, the first monoplane, constructed by the Roman inventor Trojan Vera, made a flight of 12 meters or 40 feet. 1932 is when American writer John Updike, whose novels, short stories, and poems are known for their realistic but subtle depiction of American Protestant small-town middle-class life, was born. Moving on to 1936, when politician F.W. de Klerk, who was president of South Africa from 1989 to 1994, brought the apartheid system of radical segregation to the end and negotiated a transition to majority rule in his country, was born. In 1957, the Council of Ministers of Western European Union requested the NATO Council to review plans for reduction of British NATO contingent in West Germany. Moving on to 1963, when France, despite Algerian protests, exploded a nuclear device underground in the Sahara. The following year, in 1965, Soviet cosmonaut Alexei Leonov, after passing through an airlock on the spacecraft Valkyr Foucault, too, became the first man to walk in space. 9 years later, in 1974, seven-member countries of OPEC lifted a 5-month oil embargo against the United States. On this day in 1985, Leonard Goldson, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of ABC, one of 3 major television networks in the U.S., publicly acknowledged that he had accepted an offer from Capital City Commissions, Incorporated, to buy ABC. The deal worked out with Thomas S. Murphy, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Capital Cities, included more than $3.5 billion. It thus became the largest business acquisition in U.S. history outside the oil industry. Murphy, who had already worked out the basic financing, would offer ABC stockholders a very attractive $118 for each share of the stock purchase. In addition, ABC stockholders would receive warrants allowing them to purchase stock in Capital Cities. The new organization would be called Capital Cities/ABC Inc. In 1990, in what was considered the world's biggest art heist, 2 men pretending to be police officers stole 13 works, including paintings by Rembrandt and Jonas Vermeer, from the Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. The stolen art was never recovered. That was like 34 years ago. On this day in 2000, Chen Shui-bian, the leader of the pro-independence movement that sought statehood for Republic of China, I want to say the country of Taiwan, was elected. He was elected, or she was elected, president of Taiwan, breaking the Nationalist Party's 55-year rule. In 2006, Spain's deputy prime minister makes an emergency visit to the Canary Island to try to find a way to starch the flow of African migrants that has been overwhelmingly autonomous community. More than 1,000 migrants have detained at sea, and 25 had died in the past 10 days trying to journey from Moranta to the Canary Island. In 2012, Tong King Tapu V passed away and was succeeded by his younger brother, Crown Prince Laveka, who took the name Tukpu VI. And finally, in 2017, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist Chuck Berry, who is a leading and influential performer in rhythm and blues and rock and roll music, passed away at the age of 90. Until next time.